Hey everybody. I don't know why that picture was wrong. That was my fault.
Yeah, I saw it was in here, but I figured that was just the thumbnail wasn't updating.
That's strange. What was that picture supposed to look like?
It was a picture.
It was a picture of, I guess, of Tales of Fantasia, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was like the iOS icon.
Huh. Wow. Yeah, there's the different school versions of Kerbal Space Program coming out. Hey everybody.
Hey dudes and dudettes.
Hope you enjoyed CheckPoint Plus today. As we mentioned, Paul is here. Kathleen is not here this week. She's just coming back. She actually has landed in Canada, but she's just coming back from the Geek Bowl, which is a giant trivia competition in Austin.
There's something about, I guess it's probably it's like the whole socialized medicine thing, where it's like, okay, they're safe. They're back in Canada.
Yeah.
It's like, lots of stuff could still go wrong, but they're back in Canada. So at least they'll be okay.
Yeah. There's the graphic, by the way.
There you go. Tales of Fantasia. Look at how beautiful it is. Wait, that way. Also, yeah, I'm pretty sure you were totally using Kathleen's shot there.
Yeah, it was on the wrong. I guess the graphics
It was on the wrong
side, but
it was
it's labeled as Graham.
The graphics were on the wrong side, and you were zoomed in more than you were supposed to.
Yeah. Oh well. Oh hey, not time again. No Tim again. No Tim again has just subscribed. No Tim again. Thank you. Thank you for subscribing. No Tim again. Thank you.
A man named No Tim again.
He was out and back and in again. Then he subscribed, and then we sang a song. He's No Tim again.
No Tim again.
No Tim again.
Doesn't quite work.
No. When Paul was reading me that story for the Tales of Fantasia, I just kept more and more dread. Because he was like, hey, so Tales of Fantasia. And I was like, oh, wow. I remember playing a ROM of that years ago before it got released.
It was like because it was like a 20 meg ROM or something ridiculous. Like it was.
Oh, I mean, I think it was bigger than that. It was real big for a.
Most ROMs were like 2 megs.
I guess, yeah. It was like the biggest. It was the biggest cartridge for. Oh, my collar's flipped up. It was the biggest cartridge for Super Famicom.
Yeah.
Because it was.
It actually had like
gorgeous
extra chips in it, I think.
Yeah.
And it had
hot Eve tip from Johnny Kefka. There's a 2,600-ish person space battle going on because someone forgot to pay their rent. Record-breaking number of super capital kills.
Oh man.
Oh.
Too bad that didn't. I'm always interested in that.
Mm-hmm. So yes, they released it on GBA and they released it on PSP. I think they released on PSP some time ago, and they did full. They did full voice acting for it, I think, even, or not maybe not full voice acting.
Apparently, it came out for GBA in North America.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
But obviously, no voice acting, and then it came out on PSP in Japan with voice acting.
Oh, okay. I altered this story. Originally, I was like, it's first North American release because I'd forgotten about the Game Boy thing, but checked that quickly and altered the story, so I was not saying their first North American release. But
interestingly enough, some people have, probably not that interesting, but anyway, some people have looked at the script of got the script of the new one for iOS and the original GBA one. The translation is different. It's actually a new translation.
Oh wow! So like the thing is, it's like I'd probably pay $10. I don't know how much I'd play it, but I'd probably pay $10 to buy that. But instead, this free to play thing, like I don't mind free to play games as an idea. Like, I don't mind the idea of, like, here's the game, and you can play it, but if you want to make it easier for you, you can buy this stuff, but you don't have to. You can still earn that in the game. I'm fine with that, right? It's like, I can play it if I want to, or if I feel like paying for it, I can, if I want to save myself some time, that's fine. But changing the game to make it worse, to make it harder, to make your microtransactions more appealing,
like it's almost
that is some hot loose bullshit.
Like I wouldn't mind, like even if it was a $10 game, if there were still microtransactions in it,
yeah,
as long as they weren't advertising them all the time and pissing you off.
Mm-hmm.
Like microtransactions, I don't find the microtransactions take away from the game.
Yeah.
Because you can, if you don't are
Yeah.
interested, you can just ignore them. But if you're actually, it's whether if you're actually, changing your game to better,
Yeah, and when you were like,
incentivize microtransactions,
they're making the game harder. I was like, oof, that doesn't sound like a good thing at all. And it's like making the game harder by actually reducing the number of items people drop and reducing the number of save points.
Yeah.
Is ludicrous.
To encourage you to use the like party revives and stuff if you die.
Yeah. Ugh. No.
Silly Billy.
Oh, Zeke, I can't claim that. Zeke just said, Graham, hot loose bullcrap, Stark. I can't claim that one. That was Cam. Actually, this weekend brief side story. We went to a Magic GP in Vancouver, and James, Jeremy, and Cam and I went, and we got a townhouse on Airbnb because it was about the same. I think it actually worked out to be cheaper per person than getting a hotel for 2 nights.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, but it meant that we just had like this townhouse that we could all sleep in. We all had our own beds. It worked out really well. But when you do Airbnb, it's like someone's house, right? But this is a place that he had to rent out. But we looked through the cupboards, of course, and in one of them was a modded Xbox. Well, it was an Xbox. We were like an Xbox with like Rallycross and Halo. We were like, oh man, we're totally hooking this Xbox up.
Like original Xbox?
Original Xbox. Not an Xbox 360, not an Xbox One, like a first Xbox. And we're like, oh, we're totally hooking this up. And we plug it in, and it has a launcher, the Executor 2, and it does this launch startup, but it's all in purple instead of green.
Fancy.
Yeah, and so we load it up, and there's a picture of a British model named Katie Price, aka Jordan, with her hands over her nipples like this, doing like thumbs up on the nude, right? But with her hands over her nipples, so it's family friendly because it's part of the launcher. And so we're loaded up, and we're like, there's boobs, and this list of Xbox
launchers.
games, exactly, because of course it has to have boobs because it's a hacked Xbox, and all these games, and so we started playing original Halo, which looks garbage, by the way. I mean,
it looked really good
at the time. Absolutely, it did. But Cam played James or Jer, I think, and was doing really well. But when Cam got ganked at one point, it was like, oh, that is some hot loose bullshit, and had no memory of saying it after the match. He also had no memory of saying, oh, no scoped, son. He was like, I said that? Like, yeah. He's like, oh. So, anyway. I saw someone in the chat talk about this. So, what didn't we report on this week? The
big thing.
The King.com debacle. So for those who haven't heard all of this, so King.com, makers of Candy Crush Saga, have... It's so hard to describe these things. They're trying to trying to enact their trademark. But they're enacting trademarks on the words candy, which was successful, I believe, and saga. Which is like, it's weird.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know, it's one of these weird things about like trademark law where I've seen people talking about that if they want to keep their trademark, then they have to be like, they have to go after anybody else who calls the video game something saga, or else wouldn't be able to keep it.
That doesn't make sense though, because like games have been called stuff saga for years.
Yeah.
Right? Like Romancing Saga. There's an entire franchise. There's the Saga franchise.
Right. Which means that the trademark probably shouldn't have been issued in the first place.
Yeah.
But now that it has been issued in order to keep it, I don't know.
Apparently,
I don't know the vagaries of how this stuff works.
Apparently, the Jimquisition. Was it this week's Jimquisition? I assume so. Anyway, Jim did a video for The Escapist on it.
But it's obviously not. It's
very confusing.
It's very silly.
It's really stupid. Really stupid.
I've seen people compare it to like Tim Langell stuff, which is it's not that bad because they did actually make a game.
Yeah, at least they actually made a game, but it's still really dumb and bad.
But yeah, it's unfortunate when when these sort of legal systems get used as kind of a bludgeon, and I feel like they don't. Like from stuff I've read, it's almost like they don't really even want to do it, but they feel that legally they have to for some reason.
Yeah.
And so they're, and I don't know, it's very silly. I mean, it's a little bit like there's like the Elder Scrolls.
Admiral Mamo says the stupid part is that they didn't trademark Crush, but how are they going to do that? Crush is a drink.
Well, no, but trademarks are specific to domains, right?
Yeah.
So
they don't have games with Crush.
They don't have a trademark on like candy, period.
Yeah, they have a trademark on games with candy in the name.
Games with candy in the name.
Which
again
should never have been issued. The fact that it was issued, I still think King.com are the bad guys in this. Don't get me wrong, but that trademark should never have been issued. That's insane.
Yeah,
that is an insane trademark, especially for Saga. Like Saga's way more. Like,
can people just be like? Shouldn't the requirement be if it's a single word?
Mm-hmm.
Is it in the dictionary?
Well, typically it has to be, right? Like it has to be spelled a weird way for you to be able to trademark it.
Right. Like it's like if it's a single word and it's in the dictionary, it shouldn't be trademarkable.
Yeah. Oh, right. Yes, that's a good point. Sorry, Kaku Epsilon is correct. They've got the trademark for Candy and Saga on video games and clothing.
I guess they have for marketing purposes.
I guess.
Silly Billy.
Yeah. But then there was also that story from the indie dev that was talking to them about releasing their Flash game.
Yeah. Which is, I was like, ooh, this is great. But that's actually a 5-year-old story.
Yeah, well, they've only
started talking, but that incident happened 5 years ago. Yeah. But now, because of this other thing, they are sort of...
Yeah, so for those who didn't see that, there was an indie dev that made it's called an avoider game, where you're trying to keep away from all the things that are coming at you. And it's called like Ghost Hide or something. It was sort of like, it had sort of like retro style graphics and looked really slick and everything. It was like somewhat inspired by Pac-Man, because you were like, hiding from ghosts or whatever. Mm-hmm. And it was called like, Ghost Getaway or something like that. And King.com was talking to them about publishing it, and then they got a better, and before contracts were signed, according to this indie dev, they got a better offer from somewhere else, and we're like, sorry, King, we're going to go with these other guys. No hard feelings. All right, later. So then King, according to both indie devs involved in this, actually,
yeah,
King then went to a second indie dev,
King has been straight about that. Like, that's what they did.
Yeah, they went to a second indie dev, said the first guys welched on their contract, which they say they never even signed a contract,
right,
and got the second indie dev to basically make a ripoff of it and try to get it out before the original was even released.
Right.
And but the thing is, they called theirs Pack Avoid, which is like, isn't that a little on the nose? Shouldn't Bandai Namco have a problem with Pack Avoid? Like, they're such hypocrisy. It's so silly.
Well, it's...
Oh, that's a different thing. Sorry, Lancer's talking about how the creator of VVVVV had trailers for VVVVV on his YouTube channel, content ID flagged. But that's YouTube.
Different thing,
that's stupid. It's still dumb, but that's YouTube.
It's the it's bizarre, these situations you get, like, it's a little bit like there's like the Yeti Town.
Yeah, Yeti Town and Triple Town.
Because the thing is, like,
that whole thing.
Like King.com making another avoider game, even another avoider game with a Pac-Man theme.
Yeah.
Is not a big deal.
No.
But using privileged information that they got while in negotiations with the other company, that's what sort of turns it into it being a pretty underhanded thing.
Yeah.
Right?
So for those of you who aren't familiar with that one, real quick, Lintoon has just subscribed. Lintoon, thank you for subscribing. Thank you, Lintoon. Appreciate
Thanks,
it.
Lintoon.
Welcome to the club. So for those who are unfamiliar with that, Spryfox, makers of Tripletown, which we're big fans of, they were in talks with a publisher called Six Waves to publish Tripletown. And then they decided that they didn't want to do that. And so Six Waves went to another company and were like, all right, so Spryfox backed out, so make us a Tripletown clone exactly and do it quickly so we can release it before they do. Mm-hmm. And they did, and it was called Yeti Town, and it was crap except for all the parts where it was identical to Tripletown.
Right.
And so what ended up happening is that Spryfox was like, no, and laid suit or sued them or something. And anyway, Yeti Town got taken down, and they ended up with they now own Yeti Town and all the code for it.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
And they're like, big whoop.
Yeah, they're like, well, at least that means they can't sell it. So.
Yeah.
It is now Bandai Namco because it was Namco Bandai in North America, and that's about it.
No, it was Bandai Namco in Japan.
Yeah.
And everywhere else, it was Namco Bandai.
Right. And then they were like, "This is weird."
And then they're like, "We should standardize this." And then so they're becoming as of April 1st, they're becoming Bandai Namco everywhere in the world, just for fun.
Yeah.
Bandai Namco.
Bando Namco.
It seems like they could combine it some way.
Bamco.
Bamco
Or Nandai.
No. Bamco Industries.
Bamco's much better.
This sounds like a cartoon, like Bamco Dynamite. Buy it today.
Welcome to Bamco. What else did we report on? Hey. J.M. Alderson the Sixth has just subscribed. J.M. Alderson the Sixth, thank you for subscribing. This is very good stuff. Thank you.
He comes from a long line of J.M. Aldersons that have subscribed.
Yes. I don't think so. Just the one. Yeah, we were joking about Nandai Bamco.
I think we've actually said it that way in a checkpoint before.
Probably. Intentional or not, who knows?
It's fun to say.
Bananenco? Yeah. Someone was asking, the Kerbal Space Program. So that was in the coming up. So they're making an Kerbal Space Program EDU.
Yeah, or just Kerbal EDU.
Right, it's just called Kerbal EDU, and it's a
.com
version of the space program, or it's a version of Kerbal Space Program where certain aspects of it, like data gathering and stuff, are a little easier, and it's for use in schools to just as like a learning tool, which I think is really cool.
They're gonna have lesson stuff actually in the game, and then also they're gonna have support material for teachers, like lesson plans and stuff.
Yeah, they're working with a educational app developer to do it, I believe.
Yeah.
So, which sounds pretty
teacher
sweet.
gaming. I believe.
Apparently, Minecraft is quite popular in schools for similar reasons.
Yeah.
Just as like a teaching tool.
That was I don't know if we actually did it as a story, but I remember looking at a thing a while ago that SimCity was also, like the new SimCity was also being done. So it's neat, the idea of not just taking the game and trying to build a lesson plan around it, but actually in the cooperation of the developers to sort of make a slightly customized version.
What was the fourth story that we actually did?
Fourth story? We did...
Oh, the Tomb Raider. Right. I love comparing those. It's like the PS4 one, the controller light glows different colors when you have the torch equipped. But the Xbox one, you can rotate relics with your hands.
I was like looking that. I was actually like, I was going to make sure that wasn't just like somebody being silly on like a message board or something. And as it's in the press release, that it changes.
Yeah. So blue, this light on the
it changes orange and red
PS4 controller.
And it's like, really? That's press release worthy? I'm so glad that we have this new generation of video gaming systems. It does also have the Press FX hair management
of course.
System, which presumably they've
maybe
fixed
she's
so it
born
doesn't
with
go
it.
like that.
Maybe it's Tress FX.
Yeah.
Goodness.
In terms of stories that we didn't do,
Yes.
for one thing, okay. So if you've seen this week's Loading Ready Run video,
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
if you haven't seen this week's Loading Ready Run video, go look at it because it's funny.
It's called The New Chess.
The new chess, and so that's an idea that I've had in my like idea list for seriously like 2 years.
Yeah.
And we've talked about it in the past and never actually got around to writing it. And so then just the last, couple of weeks ago, I finally wrote it.
And we shot it like 2 weeks ago.
And the idea was, of course, treating chess like, Warcraft or something like that. That has
that video's actually gotten very good response from a couple of esports personalities online, like the editor-in-chief for Team Liquid was tweeting about it. Just, trying to balance online games is, I love that, like, well, white always goes first. We give him black 2 queens, but to compensate for that, black gets to go twice every 4th turn or something. And this totally works now. It's like, oh.
And so totally unintentional that today, like yesterday, a bunch of info came out and a game called Chess 2 was released for Ouya.
Mm-hmm. And the rules for Chess 2 have been around for a while.
Yeah, so Chess 2 is like a game that people have been working on for a couple of years, and you could download the rules. But this is the first
it was a video game
version of it.
Yeah.
And so,
which is weird that happened.
Which is sort of, I think it's sort of like it's sort of like an official thing.
Yeah.
And so
the timing is just so strange.
Yeah, and a bunch of people have been like, "Oh, were you guys making fun of this thing?" And I'm like, "What's that thing?"
Like, no, but it's relevant. I'll take it.
Yes. Oh, somebody was mentioning Battle Chess. Battle Chess, best thing ever.
Oh, Battle Chess is sweet.
I used to love that game. I couldn't even play chess that well. I would just set up fake games so I could see all the fights between the different sides.
Yeah.
It's like, what happens when a pawn takes a queen? So like that. All right. Other stories? There was the...
Tripping Possum says, I can't believe the Kotaku quote is more chess than chess. Something it's an MST3K joke, isn't it? This movie has more fog than the fog.
There's the video you guys probably saw, or saw a link to some places, but there's a video somebody has made of every single intro screen from the original NES.
Oh yeah.
Every single game. It's 3 hours long.
Yeah. It's just like the logo and like a little like doo 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 doo.
Yeah, so if you want like a little if you want a whole bunch of sweet like chiptune stinger like stings,
yeah,
then that's a great place to go. It's pretty sweet.
There was something else. Oh yeah. Nintendo is not doing as bad as people think they are.
Oh really?
Well, Nintendo's making ass tons of money. The problem is that they didn't lose money. They didn't make nearly as much as they'd projected, which is still a big problem, right? But it's like they're not going bankrupt or anything. They've got billions in the bank.
Yeah, I mean, this stuff I read said they had lost.
Yeah, but
$240 million.
But they didn't. It's because they said that they would make this much, and I guess it's not a loss. It's that they didn't fully gain that much. I don't know how this works in corporate things. The thing is, they're still making buttloads of money, but they didn't make what they said that they would, so all the investors are upset.
The interpretation I saw was that they were going to make. They had said that they were going to make a small profit, and instead they made a massive loss. They may still have money in the bank,
I guess,
but they said that they were going to make a small profit and instead made a $240 million loss for the year.
I don't see how that's possible.
Why?
Because they have been selling stuff.
Yeah, they also been spending a lot of money.
I guess. I don't know.
Money goes in and money goes up. But yeah, I mean, they have
operating loss for the quarter, says.
Oh, for the quarter, yeah.
Edgar Ware.
So they have lots of money in the bank.
Yeah.
That's not a problem.
Yeah.
So I mean, it's not like they're going to go out of business anytime soon.
No.
But their business is not the way they want it to be. So why are they talking about changing stuff?
Yeah. Anyway.
I
do agree that we were talking last week. I do agree that severely mismarketed the Wii U. We were
Oh, yeah,
talking.
yeah,
Where did you hear this?
That was actually just in on a Reddit thread.
Yeah.
A guy was talking who works at a video game store.
Yeah.
And he was talking about how a lot of people who come into the video game store don't know that the Wii U is actually a console.
They think it's a screen. They think it's this.
They think it's a $300 attachment for a Wii.
For the Wii. Because all the marketing is this, with like a little console in the back, and you can't really tell what the console is. It looks like it could be an old Wii. And they think it's a $300 peripheral.
And all the marketing for the original Wii, any peripherals for the original Wii were done in the format like Wii Fit, Wii Balance
Motion Plus,
Wii Motion Plus.
Yeah.
So this is Wii U. And so like when I saw that, I was like, holy shit, that's actually a thing. And
that makes a staggering amount of sense.
And I mean, like, it seems bizarre, to us who have been sort of paying attention to the industry and stuff. But in that like Reddit thread, there were people responding were like, holy shit, I totally thought the Wii U was just so this is people who are browsing Reddit, so they're little the more technical sophistication.
But okay, so the bookster says honestly they're not that wrong. The Wii U is almost just an attachment, but the point is it's not. It is an entirely separate console that plays different games. It also plays all the Wii games, but it plays its own separate games, and that's why Nintendo's been having trouble selling them, because people don't know that.
It's also, I mean, it's like 2 or 3 times more powerful than a Wii. Like, it is a pretty substantial
It's an actual
upgrade.
HD console, for one thing.
Yeah. I mean, it's to the Wii as the Wii was to the GameCube, which, everyone said, when the Wii came out, everyone said it was basically 2 GameCubes duct taped together.
Yeah, which is fun.
And the Wii U is essentially 2 Wiis attached together.
Yeah.
But that's how Nintendo does its thing.
Yeah, but now, like, hearing that, I'm like, oh yeah, that's really stupid marketing. Also, a story that literally, like, just happened. Like, just, like, this morning. I saw some people talking about it. Microsoft has bought the Gears of War franchise.
Yeah.
Which is, I thought they already owned it.
Well,
so I don't really consider it news.
I thought that...
I'm sure it's a big deal.
Epic was a first-party developer, but I
no,
guess,
they're not.
Or were they, like, second-party or something? Like, were they, like... I thought that they were very closely associated with...
I think so. Like...
Microsoft. Like they... Like Epic,
I was joking. Like, I didn't think that Microsoft already owned Gears of War, but when I heard that, I did have a moment of, did they not already own it? Oh, no, it was Epic, wasn't it? Oh, okay. Because it's only ever for Xbox systems, right?
Right.
So...
has Epic produced any games for non-Microsoft systems?
I don't honestly know what Epic has done game-wise other than Gears of War recently.
Like I always saw like Epic as like the equivalent of like Naughty Dog and Sony.
Yeah.
Like they're sort of a wholly owned subsidiary sort of thing.
Like
but I guess that's not true.
Yeah, I don't know. Like it's always been a Microsoft only thing, so it's like okay, I guess that makes. I guess maybe it's cheaper for them to just buy the franchise than to get an exclusivity license for every game. So.
Oh right, of course, yeah, they did. Oh right, they did Unreal. I'm down.
Well, I know they did Unreal, but they haven't done that. They haven't done anything since doing Epic or since doing Gears of War. Epic hasn't done anything since doing Gears of War. No, I knew. Don't, dude. UT2K4, all the way.
Bulletstorm. Okay. Yeah.
Oh yeah, they did Bulletstorm.
Well, and also just they
published Bulletstorm. People Can Fly made Bulletstorm.
And they made
People Can Fly.
And they do the Unreal Engine.
That's their big thing.
Which is used for games for everybody.
It's nice that UT99 had a PS2 port. We are talking about something more recent than UT99. but thank you, WNevic. I appreciate that. Super Wii would have been an infinitely better name. Oh man, the Super Wii.
Double Wii or the
because Super Wii, even people who are like
Super
not
Nintendo.
Yeah, because people know about the Super Nintendo even if they're not like knowledgeable on gaming, and so you get the moms being like, so that we have the Wii and they've released a Super Wii, and it's like yes, okay, and they would know that it's a different console.
And then we can go back to the naming system of the like Super Ghouls and Ghosts, Super whatever. Everything's called Super.
Nintendo needs to work out their naming scheme.
Because right now it's like, yeah, just putting U after things, like Ninja U, makes it just look like everything's a university.
Ninja. No, it's Ninja U is pronounced Ninjao.
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 The other one was there's this one, I don't know if this didn't really work as a story, but there's a behind the scenes video released for the South Park game, which looks awesome, by the way.
Oh yeah.
The Order of the Stick,
Mm-hmm.
which basically talking about how much work they put into making the game look exactly like the TV show.
Which it does. I saw the gameplay trailer and I was like, this isn't gameplay. This is just. I was waiting for it to stop being a pre-rendered South Park cutscene and start being the game, and then I realized that it was the game, and I was like, holy crap.
Yeah.
And it shouldn't be that impressive. It's like, look how impressive it is that this looks like garbage. But I was legitimately impressed. I was like, wow, that looks indistinguishable from an episode of the show.
Yeah, well, there's like an interview with Matt and Trey where they're talking about how they really, that it actually, required, they couldn't do it until, it required this generation of consoles before they could replicate the exact kind of crappiness.
Yes, Stick of Truth. Yes, Order of the Stick is a webcomic.
Right,
Yes.
Order of the Stick is a webcomic.
Sorry.
Stick
yes.
of Truth.
Yes.
But before they could do the exact kind of crappiness that South Park is famous for, and to the point where they actually have like the actual South Park animators will send animation to the developer. It's somebody. Is it Obsidian?
Yeah, it is. Yeah.
We'll send animation of the characters to Obsidian.
Yeah.
So that they can match it.
We had Chris Avalon in the Moonbase last week.
Right.
Yeah.
So it's.
I know they're working hard on it.
So it looks pretty awesome. Apparently, people who have just been like walking by the office while they're looking at demos have been like, "What the? I didn't know that."
I haven't seen this episode.
I haven't seen that episode. Yeah.
And then like, yeah. I like that. Like, obviously that game's been delayed a lot. I like that Matt and Trey basically were like, "Yeah, that's us." Sorry.
Well, and they talked about how, because there have been like 2 or 3 other South Park games
That were pretty garbage.
Yeah, well, they were just like South Park licensed, whatever.
Yeah.
But this is the first one that they've actually been personally involved with doing.
Mm-hmm.
And apparently, how they as opposed to licensing their game to somebody, how they did it is they basically did because they're used to doing animation, they did an animatic of what they wanted the game to look like. And then they took that to developers, not even to publishers, but to developers. And they were just like, can you make this? Just a pretty cool way of doing it.
Nice.
Yes, the main, the THQ going
bankrupt, that was a big part of it too.
Yeah, that probably didn't help anything.
Yeah. Oh yeah, Octodad looks sweet. I'm excited.
Mm-hmm.
PlayStation Octomove, right. You can do 2-player Octodad, where one player controls the arms and one player controls the legs. And then whenever you complete an objective, it randomizes if you continue to control the legs or if you switch to the arms.
Nice.
Yeah.
Is that the one where you're trying to... The objective is to make it try to cover for the fact that you're actually an octopus?
Nobody suspects a thing. That's part of the song. It's like, Octodad, nobody suspects a thing. Even though he's just like... So, yeah. Does anyone remember the game Rocket Robot on Wheels?
No.
I do not.
There's been...
So, that answers your question.
Yeah, I mean, it's fun to see little things. There was little things come out about Oculus Rift. Obviously the Oculus Rift itself isn't out yet. But there's been some, there's a little disturbing in that the main genre that people seem to be really going for in Oculus Rift is horror games.
Oh my God, we saw a video once. We were reporting on we did this as a CheckPoint story, talking about hurling the Rift across the room.
All right, that's where the zombie just appears behind you.
We were watching a video where it was a guy moving around a dungeon, and there were gargoyles in the dungeon that basically moved like the Weeping Angels. They didn't move if you were looking at them, but if you weren't, then they moved. And you were watching a split screen thing of the guy playing it and what he was seeing, and it looked absolutely... It was a massive brown trouser time. The guy looked terrifying. So...
But there's a new game that's called, I don't know, Alone in the Woods or something, which, as you might guess, is walking around in a dark, scary forest
Yeah.
with somebody trying to kill you. And it's like, what happened to the, fancy prancy pony game? I want that game. I want to go to Magical Dreamland. I don't want to go to
Eric the Orange.
Scary Forest
Will
Land.
you guys do retro games on GPLP? Yeah, we could. I mean, there'll probably be retro games that we can make fun of, but I think we can beat Dark today. I think we can finish Dark today.
I have no
concept of time.
I have no concept of how far we are in the game in terms of like the plot meanders so much that I can imagine it just sort of keep going, and now I fight this guy. Now I fight this guy.
Ryson, Dreadhalls. That's it, dreadhalls.com. That's the Weeping Angel Oculus Rift game. Yeah.
There's also that Oculus Rift game that's just the objective is to just hold down to not freak out. It's like you have to like hold down a button or hold down like two buttons. And what you see in the thing is like first you see it's something you see like it's like you see like your own hands in front of you and you're like in this empty room and then like spiders start crawling over your hands and stuff and you start hearing like stuff in your ears like like things like burrowing into your head and terrible stuff. Like it's just it's like, why is everybody doing the bad stuff?
Oh my god, no. Pardon me. I don't know. Why do people keep going to see those horror movies that are so cheap to make? Because they don't let people like being scared.
I don't.
I don't really like being scared. I don't like those movies. I think they're dumb. Sorry, I'm just reading the chat. Scoop, scoop, scoop. Yeah, last time someone told us we were pretty close to the end and we still didn't beat it. So either that person was a filthy, filthy liar or we should be able to beat Dark.
There's the one other...
Oh, yeah! So do you guys know about the Nintendo World Championship? In that, like, the game called Nintendo World Championship? It was like a cross-promotion with the Wizard. It's a game... It doesn't matter what the game actually is, to be perfectly honest. But
I've never actually seen the game.
I've never seen it, but I was reading about it. You do stuff in Super Mario Brothers, Rad Racer, and Tetris. You like try to do objectives. It's like a mini game compilation almost.
That's the new
retro NES or whatever.
Yeah, Nintendo like
NES
retro
remix. Yeah,
Nintendo just literally just put that out.
So there's 116 copies of this cartridge total.
90 gray ones and
20
and
gold
26
ones.
gold ones.
The gold ones were given out to winners of a Nintendo Power contest, and the gray ones were given out to winners of a different other contest. And it's the most
to the winners of an actual like tournament.
Yeah, it's the most expensive NES cart. Typically, the gray ones go for around $10,000. They had one at the Child's Play auction a couple of years ago and raised about that much. But there was this one recently that sold on eBay, the winning bid was like $100,000, or a little south of $100,000, and people were like, "Wait, what? What?" And
there's speculation that it was like money laundering, or some sort of elaborate scheme.
Yeah, but the guy a previous owner of that specific cartridge, because they're all numbered, and this one has like specific markings on it. He was like, "No, I used to own that. It's real, but I don't know why it's worth $100,000 because I sure as hell didn't sell it for that." And the person like backed out.
The best part about it is the label is ripped, and then Mario is written in pen. And somebody, the guy was like, "Hey, that's my cartridge. I recognize it." Someone was like, "Are you the one who wrote that in?" It was like, "No, I did not."
So, the winning bid was like almost $100,000, but that person backed out, and so they're trying to see if any of the other bidders still want it. But in the meantime, because everybody reported on that, it like spiked the price, and so a gray one sold for over $10,000. There's a gold one currently up for auction at like 17 or something, and there's another gray one currently up for auction at like.
I think there's a gold one.
Gold one up for like around 30.
30, yeah,
and a gray one up around 17.
Yeah.
So it's there. We didn't do this as a story because it's hard to. There's a lot of subtleties going on. And it's hard to just get that across in a quick, funny way. But
oh man,
yeah,
I'm sad about this Eve thing now.
yeah. It's 3 trillion ISK. Woof.
108,000. See, the problem is if a story happens like right now, unfortunately, it's like it's too late for us to do it, and by next Monday nobody will care.
Yeah.
But that's actually really awesome.
Reporting to you live from space.
I love Eve, reading about stuff that happens in Eve Online. It doesn't actually encourage me to want to play the game, but I certainly enjoy reading about it.
Mm-hmm. Quick, funny way sounds like my sex life. Wow. RROW is basically the most forgotten great game on the N64.
It's the
that's the
Robot.
Rocket Robot one, right? So I was watching AGDQ, which was the
Awesome
Games Done Quick, which is where I found, during their Awful Games portion, that's where I found Prayer Warriors from. And again, if you haven't watched the replay of me inflicting Prayer Warriors on Alex and Cam, go to youtube.com/loadingreadylive. You need to see it.
So but wasn't that isn't it only like 6 minutes?
No, the speed run is 6 minutes. We were playing for an hour and a half.
No, but weren't they doing the speed run?
What, Alex and Cam?
No. The Awesome Games Done Quick.
Yeah, they were doing it. Yeah.
So it's hard to get that. So it was just like 6 minutes.
Yeah. Anyway, but they did a run of Perfect Dark for the N64, right? They made Rare, made GoldenEye, was awesome, and then they couldn't do another Bond game, but they wanted to do like a sequel kind of, to that, so they made Perfect Dark. And it wasn't until watching this speedrun that I realized the level design in Perfect Dark is horrible.
Well,
it is an ugly game, and the level design makes no sense. When they weren't tied, because it was all like, oh, it's sci-fi and there's aliens, without being tied to real life. They were just like, and there's a ramp here and a door at the top of the ramp, and it was really bad.
If I recall correctly, the other thing was like you go back and play GoldenEye now, right?
How did we ever play
in the frame
that
rate?
game?
It's always like right.
Especially when you're playing on turbo mode, it's like I can't see anything.
But apparently, Perfect Dark was way worse.
Yes,
Perfect Dark should not have been an N64 game. Like it just was not. The N64 just could not handle it.
Yeah.
They were too ambitious.
Yeah.
And it was like, people can play at 5 frames a second, no problem.
I didn't say Perfect Dark wasn't fun at B, but the level design is garbo. The levels are ugly and confusing.
Actually, my favorite thing is, I was never very good at these games, and so I'd always be like watching. And Perfect Dark has the laptop gun. Which is just basically like a turret.
Yeah.
That you can set up, and there's just one match that my friends were playing. I was watching that somebody was just putting laptop guns everywhere, and so someone would be like, "Fuck!" It's like, "Damn it, laptop gun!" And just keep doing that over and over. It'd be like, "Laptop gun, laptop gun."
Bruce Lee 3000 was asking if on the next Tap Tap Concede we'll be talking about our experience at the GP on the weekend, or about Born of the Gods spoilers. Well, the Tap Tap Concede for tomorrow, we recorded on Friday before the GP, so we'll be talking about all the spoilers.
Yeah.
And I say we, I mean Paul, James, Alex, and Cam, because I wasn't there, because I had to work on Monday's video before we left for the GP. But then next week we can talk about GP. And I can tell you how I crushed the dreams of a 10-year-old Magic player.
Because I wouldn't say we were thorough, but I feel like we said everything.
I think we said
everything
a podcast of our niche needs to say.
Which was basically, ooh, look at all these cool cards.
Yeah, we don't need to go in limited resources set review in depth on that.
No. We just basically called out, a bunch of cards that we were particularly excited about, and that kind of stuff.
Yeah. All right. It is 2:50 local time, and GPLP is set to start in around 10-15 minutes. So I think we're going to pack it in at this point for CheckPoint, and go offline and reset and come back online right away for GPLP after we put food in our faces like usual.
Mm-hmm.
So
maybe food in each other's faces.
ooh, like wedding cake thing. Like,
Yeah.
here, have this sandwich. Yeah, exactly. So, don't nobody go nowheres. We'll be right back with GPLP, where hopefully we will finish playing Dark.
We make no promises.
Where is it? Where's Dark? Oh no, it's gone.
If we have to buy another copy of
We'll
Dark,
find it.
I'm really mad.
Yeah.
Oh, there it is. I see it.
Yeah. Zeke, the card preview as we've been doing it before in Tap Tap Concede still wasn't working for this, but being as literally the entire podcast was just talking about cards, I am going to try and go through and add them in post. It's going to be a pain in the dick, but it's going to make for a better episode. So.
Yep. We will. The DLC. We will not be getting the DLC for Dark.
Maybe later as like a special treat.
Yeah.
Like later in the year.
Special
treat.
If you guys are bad.
Yeah. So we're gonna go do that, or we're gonna go offline, and we're gonna switch things around and come back online for that, and I guess we'll play some ads on the way out for extra bonus value. But thank you guys very much for joining us on Checkpoint Plus, and Paul and I will be back momentarily with GPLP, where we will continue to play Dark. So, like I said, don't go anywhere, and we'll be right back, and thank you for watching.
Don't go nowheres.
There it is.